Schmack-a-macabre, it's Kiss Wednesdays, and I'm going to review this right here. The Animalize, Poughkeepsie, November 28th, 1984. Off the Soundboard. I've seen a lot of complaints online. A lot of people aren't digging it. Man, I think it sounds amazing for a soundboard. I have no complaints. I mean, I do have complaints, but I don't have complaints about the sound. Sounds fine to me, and Eric Carr's a beast on here, man. Just ripping it. And they opened the show with Detroit Rock City. Sounds all right. I don't see nothing wrong with it. It's a soundboard recording. Sounds fine to me. And then they go into Cold Gin, and oh boy, the intro to Cold Gin. Yeah, Paul Stanley's. Many people out there think he's the greatest frontman ever. I think he's the worst frontman ever because of this.
Animals here that like to party. I know we got some people like to drink a little bit of alcohol, yeah?
I mean, come on. What is that? You know? There's more.
I know we got some people like to drink a little bit of tequila, yeah? I know we got some people here like to drink a little bit of Southern Comfort, yeah?
It's so cringe, it's insane. You know, it's him trying to be David Lee Roth and stuff. It's just such a try-hard. I mean, Paul is a great performer, you know, during the song, but when he speaks in between songs, I think he's the absolute worst. But Cold Gin, good. It smokes. Good guitar solo. A little weird, but that's because, you know, Mark St.John had that problem with his hand. But he was still shredding here and there. I dug it. And what comes next? Creatures of the Night, ripping. Love it. Love the performance on Creatures of the Night on here. Now, I got to tell you, I can't judge music on computer speakers. So I took the vinyl to a friend's house and I listened to it. And I took notes at his house for this video. And I think Creature of the Night was one of the better performances on here. And then we go into the next song, which has a little rap from Paul in the beginning. The worst. Going into Fits Like a Glove, and it rips. Good version. And then Heaven's on Fire. Now here is kind of like, Paul sounds a little rough. I think Paul, he had an amazing voice back then, but I think he might have been a little under the weather because his voice sounds a little rough on here. And then we go into Paul's guitar solo. Embarrassingly bad. Him doing the tapping. It's like not only is he a bad David Lee Roth, he's also a bad Eddie Van Halen during this. Just horrible. Just horrible. Going into Under the Gun. And again, Paul sounds a little rough. In some parts of the song, he's kind of like talking his way through it. He doesn't sound good. And the guitar solo is pretty funky. It sounds good in spots, and then it sounds a little weird in spots. Again, understandable, because Mark St.John had that hand condition. Next, War Machine. It's rocking. Guitar solo is kind of strange in spots, but it's rocking. And then a great kick-ass drum solo from Eric Carr. Ripping. I love it. I love the drum solo. Next, Young and Wasted. It's a mess. I can hardly hear the guitars, and it's incomplete. And, yeah, it's, the guitar is very low in the mix, so I don't know what happened there. Next, bass solo. Well, at least he's not just doing sound effects like and spitting blood. Here he's actually playing a little bit of the bass, which is identical to, you know, the uncensored video. Then I Love It Loud. Yeah, it's a good performance of I Love It Loud. I Still Love You. The vocals are very tolerable. I hate when they do I Still Love You live because Paul does that vocal gymnastic. But as I said, I think Paul was under the weather that night, so he didn't really do the gymnastics that much. So it was very tolerable. It's the best live version of I Still Love You I've heard. Next, Black Diamond. Kick ass, even though Paul keeps talking in the beginning, telling the crowd to go ooh, but it's that and Creatures of the Night I think are the two best played songs on here. I dug it. Then they do, I don't know why, Oh Susanna, which I have seen them do that. I'm not quite sure if it was the Animalize tour or the Asylum tour, but I've seen them play Oh Susanna before, so it's something they do. more than one show, and I don't get it myself. Man, throw in another song. Why do this? Horrible. Then Lick It Up. Not a fan of Lick It Up, so I'm biased. Then it ends with Rock and Roll Night, which kind of fades out, but that's it. That is my review of Off the Soundboard. I personally don't have a problem with the sound. A lot of people out there do, but I think it's a great sounding soundboard. That's my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments below. If you heard it on a stereo, don't judge stuff on computer speakers. It's very misleading. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and if you'd like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below, and please subscribe to my channel and ring that little notification bell, and please give this video a like. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So, stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob. Before we get canceled, check out the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast with me and Wadzilla. We are the Podcast Kings. Link to the podcast is in the description below, and also a link to the YouTube page. Check out older episodes with visuals. And very soon, either Ian and I will learn how to go on YouTube Live. Might be soon. So check out the greatest podcast ever according to science.com. It's also God's favorite podcast and Satan's favorite podcast as well. So check out the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast before we get canceled.